Hello, everyone, and welcome to this detailed look at our clinic management systems UML diagram. Over the next few minutes, we'll examine how each class fits into the overall design, focusing on the attributes, methods, and relationship you'll see on the screen. As you can see, our system revolves around 5 interconnected classes. The clinic is at the top, linking to the both dentist and client classes. Meanwhile, each dentist is associated with one or more service objects, and both dentists and clients are connected to transaction records. These setups model a real-world clinic where dentists perform services for clients, and each interaction is recorded as a transaction. Let's begin with the clinic class. From the diagram, we see two primary attributes. We have dentists and clients. List dentists, this indicates the clinic maintains a collection of dentist objects. In the list, similarly, the clinic keeps track of its clients in another list. By storing these two lists, the clinic can manage all the people involved in the system. Looking at the method, clinic dentist is the constructor that initializes the clinic with at least one dentist. Add dentist and add client allows us to add more records over time. Get dentists, get clients, provide ways to retrieve those lists. Display dentists is a convenient method for showing all active dentist IDs. In code, these methods align with typical CRUD patterns. Though we don't explicitly delete records, we often archive them instead. Notice also the number 1 and many notation from clinic to dentist, meaning the clinic have one more or more dentists, and the 0 or many from clinic to client, meaning the clinic can start with 0 clients but can add as many needed. Moving on to the dentist class, we observed several attributes that capture the dentist's identity and offerings. Employee ID string, a formatted ID like 001 or something 0012 to uniquely identify each dentist. Name string, the dentist's full name. Address string and contact number string is an essential contact details. Commission rate, double, a percentage that helps calculate the dentist's share from transactions. Archive boolean, a flag to remark whether the dentist records is active or not. Services, list services. This list indicates which performs procedures or treatments that dentist can perform. Dentist transaction, a record of each client interaction stored as transaction projects. The method in dentist are just as important. Dentist is the constructor that sets up these attributes, adding at least one service initially. Add service lets us expand dentist service offering. Add transaction records a new patient visit. Display dentist info prints out all relevant details for quick viewing. Utility method like format ID, assign service, and assign rate help standardize the ID format and link services to appropriate cost. In the UML diagram, note the one and many association between dentist and service, indicating each dentist can offer multiple services, and the one or many linked to the transaction, showing that each dentist can have numerous transaction records. Next, let's look at the service class, which is relatively straightforward but crucial. Its attributes are service string, the name of or type of the procedure such as fillings or checkups and cleaning. Rate double, the cost associated with that particular services. And the methods, get service and get rates, used to retrieve the service name and cost. Set service and set rate, used to update those details if needed. From the UML, we see no direct reference back to the dentist. Instead, the dentist class has a list of service objects. That means the association is from the dentist to service. The one or many notation confirms a single dentist can maintain multiple service entries. The transaction class captures each instance where a client avails a dentist service.
Dangal greetings and welcome to our Java program, a client management system. So I'm Mark Justin Alcantara and I'll begin by outlining our project's architecture and explaining how our team has divided the work. So our program simulates a dental clinic by modeling dentist, clients, services, transactions, and a central clinic manager. So our presentation is divided among our team. So I am will discuss the introduction and project overview and some parts of the detailed class along with Josh Pamintuan. Clarence Tuiza will have a walkthrough of the client class. Mark Joseph Kadudan will provide us a complete explanation of the service and transaction class, and Almina Guide will provide a comprehensive breakdown of the clinic class and also a demonstration covering all possible inputs, edge cases, and potential pitfalls. Angelo Villanueva will discuss us the main class, and also lastly, Chamil Vellante will discuss the UML diagram. So let's begin by examining the dentist class in extreme detail. So here, the highlighted one, this imports in the dentist class the import Java, the array list, and also the list. No? So this imports lets us use dynamic list to store these multiple services and transactions. Then here, the public class dentist. This we declare here the dentist class as public, making it accessible from other packages and other classes. Then here, this variable, this holds the identifier for dentist, and also this one, this stores the dentist name, dentist address, dentist contact number, commission rate, and also we have also a private boolean archive, which is a we use this to flag to mark whether the record of a dentist is archive or inactive. So here also, this one, this is the list that holds all the services the dentist offers. Then also here, with this the list to record every transaction related to this dentist. So here is the constructor. The constructor accepts a parameters for employee ID, name, address, contact number, commission rate, and a service number. This this one is the helper method to format the employee ID, like turning 1 into 0001 for consistency as stated in the requirements in the file. Then the next line assigns the name, address, contact number, and also the commission rate. Then this one, this dot archive is equal to false. This initializes the record as active. Then also we also instantiate the empty list for transactions and services. And also we have a default service to the list using assign service number, which to map the service number to a service name, and also the assign rate, this one, to determine the corresponding rate. Then also we have also the getter methods here, which for getter methods, yes, and also the setter methods. This one, the highlighted. Yeah. So ano. And also we have also this methods. This one is the adds a new service based on the given service number. This adds a transaction to the dentist transaction list. Then here the public void display dentist info. This prints all the dentist details to the console, including employee ID, name, address, contact number, and commission rate. It also iterates through the services list and print its service, and also the helper methods. This will be discussed by Josh Pamintuan.
Dangal greetings, my name is Josh Russell Pamintuan and I will be discussing these helper methods. So let's start with this format the numeric employee ID, this one. So string with leading zeros uses condition if between 1 and 9, prepend 000, if between 10 and 99, prepend 00, if between 199, prepend 0. Otherwise, convert to string. So the next one is the public string assign service. So this one is map number to service. The first one is filling. So this one is the filling, and the next one is checkup and cleanings, and teeth whitening, and last is tooth extractions. So last, this public in assign rate. So this the highlights. Return a rate based on the service name. Fillings 10,000, checkup and cleaning 600, teeth whitening 500. Default is 700.
Hello, Dangal greetings. My name is Clarence Lloyd Visa, and I will be discussing client class. So, package midterm includes the client class in the midterm package. The import Java util array list and import Java util list enables dynamic list for storing transaction. Class declaration. Public class client is declares the client class as public. Private variables. The private string client ID holds the uniquely formatted client ID, and private string name stores the client name. Private string contact number contains the client's contact number, and private string address records the client physical address. Private int year represent the registration year. Private boolean archive, a flag indicating if the record is archived. Private list transaction, client transactions, a list to store all transaction related to the client. Then the constructor public class int string, this code block accept parameters for client ID name, contact number, address, year, and initial transaction. This client format here calls a helper method to generate a formatted client ID. The following lines is assign the name, contact number, address, and year. These archive false initialize the record as active. Client transaction new array list and client transaction, add transactions, creates the transaction list, and adds the initial transaction. These are the getters method of the client class. Client public string get client ID returns the formatted client ID, and the others getters return year, name, address, contact number, archive, and the list of transaction. These are the setter method of class ay the client class. And transaction management, public transaction, public add transaction, adds a new transaction to the client's transaction list. Then the helper method is this. Helper method attempts to format the client ID with leading zeros. The conditions used to the condition used the or operator so that the condition used or this is the helper method. Helper method attempts to format the client ID with leading zeros. This is the display client info. This code block prints client details including the formatted client ID, name, address, and contact number. This for loop iterates transaction list and prints each transaction service, name, rate, and then discharge. That's all. Every detail of client class is designed to properly manage client data and transaction. Next, let's move on to the service and transaction classes.
Hello, I'm Mark Joseph Todoran. I'll now explain the service and the transaction classes. Also, the classes are simpler. They're crucial for encapsulating services offered and tracking each transaction in our system. So let's start. Let's start in the class declaration. A public class service declares the service class as a public. Next, private string service and private double. This private string service stores the service name and filing. And next, private double rate holds the cost associated with the services. Next, let's proceed into the constructor. This one, initialize the service name and rate using the provided parameter. So let's move on to the getter and setter. Public string get service and return service, return the service name, and public double rate, it means return the service rate. Next, public void set service allows updating the service name, and public void set rate allows updating the service rate. So next, let's talk about the transaction class. Let's start with public class transaction declares the transaction class as a public. Next, this line of code, public string dentist, hold the dentist names involved in this transaction, and private string name holds the client's name, and public string services stores the service name provided. Public private double rate holds the rate charge for the service. And next, private int here records the year of the transaction. Next, let's proceed to the construction or in this line that I highlighted. Um, accepts the parameter for all fields and initialize the transaction objects. Next, let's proceed to the getter and setter method. Public int here returns the year. Ang public string get dentist name returns the dentist name. Then public string get client returns the client name, and public string service name returns the service name, and public double get rate returns the rate. So this is the setter methods. Allow updating each field. These classes, also straightforward, are essential for representing the services offered and recording each transaction. Now, let's move on to the clinic classes.
Hello, I'm Almin Nagait, and now I'll explain the clinic class which manages and aggregates our dentists and clients. So, for the import java.util array list and import java.util.list, which is required to use dynamic list, and the public class clinic, which declares the clinic class as public, and to access another class. The private list dentist and private list client, which can store a dentist and client objects to the list. Public and public void add dentist adds a dentist object to the list, and also the public void add client can also add a client object to the list. So then the getter methods, the public list client that get list, which can return the list of clients, and also the public list dentist can return the list of dentists, and also the display method, which can iterates through the dentist list and prints each dentist formatted employee ID.
So, greetings. My name is Angelo Ryan D. Villanueva. Now, I'm going to explain the code for the main method. So, in our main class, we have a scanner object name input to gather user inputs. So, next, we have these following variables which will be essential in our clinic management system. So, first is the int employee ID, which has an initialization of 1, value of 1. And this is to track the current number of employee or IDs that is already existing in the clinic. So next is the variable year, which is 2025. We initializes it to 2025 to tell the program or to tell the user that the current year that they're using or the current year that is embedded in the system is under the year 2025. So next is the count ID. So this count ID is for the tracking of the client ID. So this will be essential in formatting the client ID. So if the year is 2025, and then if there's an additional client, then it will start to 1. But if the year is for example is 2025 again, and then the count ID is not equal to 1, so the one will be incremented to one. The one will be incremented to with an additional of one, so it will be now equal to 2. But if the year is set to 2026, the count ID will start again to 1. So later on this video, I'll be showing the code block for that feature of this system. So next, we have this our following dummy data. So this dummy data is the dentist objects that we will be having prior to the system or additional of dentists in the clinic management system. So we have 4 dentists with assigned to 4 of the existing offered services in the clinic management system. So next, we have an instantiation for the clinic, um, adding the dentist A first, and then we added the three more dentists that we've made, which is the dentist B, dentist C, and then dentist D. So yan. Okay, so now next, we added those dentists with the use of the add dentist method that is existing in the clinic class. This one. So next, moving on, we have a do while loop here to continuously prompt the clinic management system or for the main menu. So it will only stop when the user chose the option number 4. So the main menu, we have 4 options: manage dentist, manage clients, and set here. So first, let me discuss first the set here. So the set here, basically, it will be used to change the current year that is assigned in the management system. So this is the else if statement for that. So choosing that, it will ask for the user input for the new year that will be set to the system. So that will be a crucial part of the formatting of ID for the client. So next is the now we have the 2 main menu or options that we have in this management system. So the first is manage dentist. So when user chooses to manage dentist, it will prompt the user to this following menu. So under the manage dentist, we have add a dentist, update the dentist record, archive a record, view dentist records, and view dentist transactions. So first is the add dentist. So if user chooses option 1, it will ask for the user to enter the essential name, essential data that is needed. For example, it's the name, address, the contact number, and then we also have the commission rate for the dentist. Now next, it will also ask the service that the dentist can provide. So it will ask one service first, and then after that, we have here an instantiation for the new employee with the use of the gathered data from the user. So after that, after making an object for the new employee or for the new dentist, we will add that dentist or the new employee to the clinic using the add dentist method under the clinic class. So after that, since we have a new dentist, we will increment the employee ID. And then, yeah, it will also display that the dentist is successfully added. And then after that, we have here the display dentist info, which is a method that we have under the dentist class. So using this method, it will display all the information that is gathered when adding the dentist. So it includes the name, contact number, commission rate, and other details. So next, that is for the add dentist. Next is the update a dentist record. Under the update dentist record, if the user chooses to, it will ask first for the dentist ID or the employee ID that the user wants to edit. So after that, we will be needing this for loop method to find the index of the chosen employee or the chosen dentist to be updated. So after that, uh, we will be storing that index to the dentist index, so that we can access the dentist name, address, contact number, rate, and also the services that the dentist have. So once we gather the dentist index, we will be moving on to the do while loop. So under the do while loop, it will prompt the user to this menu. So it will show the following details that the user can update. So we have the name. So under the name, we will ask for the new name that will be set, and we will be using the set name method to update the dentist name. So that is the set name method under the dentist class. So same concept with the other information. For the address, we will update the address using the set address. Contact number will be updating the contact number to using the set contact number. And then commission rate, you will also be updating the commission rate using the set commission rate under the dentist class. So each of this, after the user inputs the new detail, the system will be printing a success message, letting know that the user letting know that the user that the update is successful. So under the service method, we have here 4 Boolean variables that will help us to tell if the current service is already existing in the dentist service list. So we have here for loop, which will help us to determine if the current index or the current service that is being checked is already existing in the service list of the dentist. So when the service is already existing, the service or the Boolean variable, the corresponding Boolean variable for that service will be set to true. So in doing this code block, or in doing this feature, we use the get service list to check first the size or the number of service that the dentist has. So next, we also have the get service, which will get the service name that the dentist have, and then we will check if the dentist has the if the current service name matches the predefined services that the clinic can offer, which is fillings, checkup and cleaning, teeth whitening, and tooth extractions. So moving on, we have the display services that can still be added. So in this part, it will now check the Boolean variables, which is not yet existing in the service list of the dentist. So after that, it will ask for the user to choose which service will be added in the dentist record. So once the user have already chose the service that the user want to add, the service will be added to the dentist service list using the .add service. So this is under the dentist class. So next is after adding the service to the service list of the dentist, it will prompt a success message to the user. So that is for the updating the or for adding a service for the dentist. Now next we have the unarchive. So in unarchive, we'll be setting the dentist record to we'll be setting the archive attribute of the dentist record to false if you want it to unarchive the current dentist record. So we'll be using the set archive method that is under the dentist class. So next is we have the 7, which is the option number for the exit. So it will break the do while loop, and then before breaking the do while loop, it will tell the user that the user has successfully exit to the update dentist record. So that is the options that we have for the update dentist record. So now next we have the moving back to the manage dentist menu, you have the archive a record. So in the archive a record, that is option 3. So it will first ask for the employee ID of the dentist that we will want to archive, and then we will again have this code block to uh, locate the index number of the dentist that we will want to archive. So after that, we will set the archive to true so that the current dentist record will be not visible when viewing all of the dentist records. Now next, we have the view dentist record. So in the view dentist records, this is in option 4. In option 4, it will display all dentist records given the condition that if the archive attribute of the current dentist is not equal to true. So if it's equals to false, it will display the dentist records. So yeah, it will display the employee ID, name, address, contact number, and commission rate. And then in this part, we use a for loop to display all the services that the current dentist can offer. So after that, we have the option 5, which is the view dentist transaction. So if the user wishes to view a specific dentist transaction or the list of the transactions that the dentist have made, user must choose option 5. So in option 5, it will ask for the dentist ID, and then we will again have this for loop code block to detect or to locate the index of the dentist that we want to check the transactions that he or she have made. So after that, after gathering the dentist ID, it will show the name of the dentist and also the commission rate. So here we have a double total payment, which is the initialization for the variable total payment, which will hold the total payments that the dentist has with the given services or transaction that he or she has in his transaction list. So in here, you have an if-else statement here to check if the dentist has already a transaction. So after checking if the dentist has already an existing transaction, it will go through the for loop to traverse to the transaction list that the dentist has. So we will be using the get transaction list under the dentist class to access the list of transactions that the dentist have. So after that, it will go to the try catch code block. So it will so if the excuse me. So if the dentist has already an existing transaction, it will display the client name, getting the name of the client, the name of the service for the availed service, and then the rate. So to get the rate. So next, we will have this code line of code to adopt the payment or the payment that the uh, dentist have for each client that he has for the transaction list. So if the dentist have no if the dentist have no existing transactions, so it will go through the catch block, which will say that nothing follows. So there's no existing transaction that can be displayed. So after that, after completing the for loop, it will go through the to this code block, code line, and it will get the total commission that the dentist has by having this formula, getting the commission rate from the dentist class, and then divided it by 100 and times to the total payment, which we gathered here in this part of the program. So after that, it will display the total payment and the total commission. Now next, we have the Now we have the option for the exit. So basically, it will exit. It will enable the user to exit in the manage dentist menu. So if the user inputs an invalid input or a number out of the given choices, it will show an invalid input, and it will prompt again the manage dentist menu. So that is it for the manage dentist.
Okay, so to continue, now let's move on to the manage clients menu. So if user wants to manage the client record, he or she must choose the option to manage the client. So under the manage clients, if user chooses manage clients option, it will show a menu for the manage clients. So if we have add a client, update a client record, archive a record, view all clients, and view client transaction, and lastly the exit. So if user chooses add the client, it will go through this if statement wherein we will have a boolean variable name is match here set initialized to false. So this will be one of the crucial part of formatting the client record for new clients. So under this line of code, we have an if else statement wherein it will check if there's been a match of here to the existing clients in the clinic record. So if there's been a match, so first it will go through the for loop that which will traverse to each client in the clinic. So it will if it will check if the current year is equal to any of the existing client records in the clinic. So if there's been a match, the is match here, its is match here variable will be set to true, and then the count ID will increment. So if not, the count ID will start to one. So if also and in additional, if the is match here is equals to false, then the count ID will start to one. So next, it will ask for the client's name, address, and then the contact number. So next, it will ask for the service that the client will avail. So it will go through this do while loop, wherein it will check if the user has already input a valid input. If not, it will show an error message. So there would be a variable named service num in a data type of int, wherein it will store the corresponding service that the user has chosen. Then it will store in the service availed variable with the string data type. So after that, the user will now choose which dentist he or she would like to be in charge of the service. So to be able to filter which dentist can only do the chosen service, we've implemented a nested for loop to check if the dentist have the specific service available in his service list. So in the outer for loop, we have the clinic that get dentist that size, wherein it will be in charge in traversing in each dentist that is existing in the clinic record. For the second for loop, for the inner for loop, it will traverse now to the service for each services that the current dentist has in his service list. So if there's been a match, it will check if the service availed variable is equals to any service that the dentist has in his service list. So if there's been a match, it will display the name of the doctor and the same as with the ID of the doctor. So after that, it will now ask for the user to enter which dentist he or she would like to be in charge by entering the dentist ID or the employee ID. So after that, we will have a for loop here to locate the index of the chosen dentist. So next, it will now next locate the index of the service that is being chosen that will correspond to the index of the a service from the list of the services that the doctor can offer. So after that, we will have instantiation of the transaction, like using the gathered data as the arguments. So we're going to take the name of the dentist, which we've gathered using the dentist index, the name of the client, which we've gathered in this part, in the input part of the name of the client, and then next is the index of the name of the service using the dentist index and the service choice, or in the index of the service on the corresponding dentist, and then we'll be getting the service name. Now next, it will also get the rate using also the dentist index and the service choice of the index of the chosen service of the client, uh, with corresponding to the index of the service of the dentist. Now next, it will get the year or the current year that is set in this clinic management system. Now moving on, it will now make the new client object to record the new client records. So after that, we have here the add client, wherein we will going to add the new client object to the uh, list of clients that the clinic has using the dot add client. And then we're also going to add the transaction to the transaction list of the dentist using the dot add transaction method under the dentist class. And then after that, it will show a success message telling the user that the transaction has been successfully made or recorded. Now in option 2, if user chooses to update the client record, it will ask for the client ID, and then we'll have this code block to locate the index of the client by having an if statement inside the for loop. So to get the match client ID while traversing each clients in the clinic. So once we've gathered the client index, we'll now go through this do while loop to ask again the user the uh, desired to ask the user the desired update that will be made on this part. So the user can choose if he or she want to change the name, address, contact number, or to add a transaction. So in updating the name, address, and contact number, the user will be asked to give the new name, the new address, or the new contact. So we will be updating those information using the setter methods. So for the name, we'll be using the set name. For the address, we'll be using the set address, and for the contact number, we'll be using the set contact number. All of this is under the setter methods under the client class. Now next, for the add transaction, the user will be asked to enter the service number or the service that he or she want to add on the client's transaction list. So after that, we will be having again the service availed variable and the dentist ID. So after inputting the desired service, the service availed will be having an initialization corresponding to the chosen service that has been chosen in this part. So if user inputs an invalid input, the dual loop will still continue. But if the user inputs a valid input, it will break the dual loop. Now after that, the user will now choose a dentist. Now same concept with in the first part of availing a service in adding a client. We will be having again a nested for loop to get the index of the dentist. I mean to print the name of the dentist and then the ID of the dentist that can do the service. So moving on. So in this part, the user will be asked again for the dentist ID, and then when the user have inputted the dentist ID, we will now locate the index of the dentist in the list of the dentist that is in the clinic, And then we'll also be going to locate the index of the service in the service list of the chosen dentist using this for loop and if statement inside in each for loop. Now next, we'll be now making a transaction object, storing all of the information that is necessary. Now next is that we're going to add the new transaction to the client transaction list using the .add transaction under the client class. And then also we'll be adding the transaction to the transaction list of the dentist using the .add transaction also, but this is under the dentist class. Now after that, the system will be displaying the dentist in charge and the service and the rate or the charge for the service. And then it will also print a success message on the program. Next, if user wishes to unarchive a client record, he or she must enter command number 5 or the number 5, and then it will be asked to input the client ID of the client that will be updated or to be unarchived. Then we'll be having this code block again to locate the index of the chosen client. So after that, we'll be setting the archive to false to make the record unarchived. So this is done using the set archive method under the client class. And then a success message will be shown. So after that, if user wants to exit the update client, he or she must enter the command number 6 to update the client menu. So if user inputs an invalid input, it will show an error message. So that is it for the menu for the manage under the update client menu. So moving on, if user chooses to archive a record, so user must enter command number 3. So under the command number 3, we have the archive client record. So the user will be asked to enter the client ID that will be the client ID of the client that will be set to archive or to set the records to archive. So once the client ID is gathered, we will now locate the index of the client using the for loop and then the if statement inside to locate the index of the client to be archived or the record to be archived. So after that, we will be setting the archive record of that client to true so that the record of that client will not be visible when we display all existing clients in the clinic. And then a success message will be shown. So after that, if user wants to check all of the client records, the user must input the command 4, number 4, and then the records will be printed using the for loop to traverse in each clients that is existing in the clinic record. So inside the for loop, there would be an if else statement to check if that if the current client if the current client that is being checked if its archive is set to true or false. So if the archive of the current client is set to false, then the client record will be printed, the client ID, name, address, and contact number. But if not, the record will not be printed and the for loop will only continue. So next, if user chooses to or wishes to check a client transaction, a specific client transaction, he or she will be asked to enter the client ID to be viewed. So after entering the client ID, we will now locate the index of the client using again this code of block, and then after that it will be printing this part to let the user know which client transaction is being viewed. So now we have this double total payment equals 0. So we have this variable that will be holding the total payment that the client have made in all of his or her transaction. So we will be having a for loop here to traverse on each client transaction list and then print the necessary information such as the dentist in charge, bill service, and then the rate. And then after that, we'll be adding up, summing all up the payment that the client have made using the total payment variable. So after that, the total payment will be printed and it will be shown in the console. So lastly, if the user wants to exit the manage client menu, or he or she must enter the command number 6 and then it will now exit to the manage client menu, uh, bringing the user back to the main menu. So if user inputs an invalid input, an error message will be shown and the dual loop will still continue. So in this, we've used the break to stop the dual loop inside the manage client menu, and which is in charge in letting the user bring back to the main menu. So that is it for the manage client menu. So if user wants to set a new year, so the user must choose command number 3 for the main menu, and then it will ask for the year to be set, and then it will be stored in the integer variable year to update the current year of the clinic management system. So if user wants to uh, terminate the program, the user must input number 4, and then it will break the main do while loop of this system. So lastly, if user inputs an invalid input, it will go through the else statement and an error message will be shown and the dual loop will still continue. And that is all for the source code or the code explanation for the main class of our clinic management system. So thank you for listening.
Dangal greetings and welcome to this demonstration. We will walk through every key features of our client management system. You will see how to manage dentist and client records, update information, archive entries, assign services, and calculate transaction totals. So let's get started. So when the program starts, sample dentist data is loaded and the main menu is displayed. So the year is set to 2025. So now selecting option 1 bring us to the dentist management section. Here you can add, update, archive, or view dentist records and transactions. So now let's try to add a new dentist. We'll choose state whitening. So as we can see, Dr. Michael Adams is added with an auto-formatted ID of 0005. His initial service is teeth whitening with a 25% commission rate. So now let's try updating a dentist record. We'll try number 2, 0005. Let's try to update his name. Then now let's try adding an address because I um, double click earlier. Now let's try add a service. Number 1, feelings. So Dr. Adams' name and address is now updated, and he now also offers fillings. So the update process is straightforward and confirms each change immediately. Now let's try archiving a dentist. So now let's try archiving. Let's exit first, then archive a record. Let's now input the ID of 0001. This is the employee ID of Dr. Sampu. So archiving marks a dentist record as inactive. So Dr. Sampu is now archived and will not appear in active listings. So now let's try viewing active dentist records. Oh, I forgot again. No, let's try first viewing transactions. So as we can see, since no transactions have been recorded for Dr. Adams yet, all totals are 0. Now let's try viewing the active dentist records, which is number 4. So as we can see, only non-archived dentists are listed. Dr. Sampu with an ID of 0001 does not appear since his record is archived. So now we switch to client management. So in this client management section, we can also add new clients, update their details, and archive records, and also view transaction histories. Now let's try adding a new client. No, it's this. Oh, I forgot again. This is the managed dentist. So let's try adding a dentist again, and let's see how it is its behavior. Let's try Mark Justin. Cabuyao 0975. 90% commission rate. Then let's do extractions. So as we can see, the employee ID is now 0006 since there are 4 dummy data. Then we archived the first one, the 0001. Then we also added a Dr. Michael Adams, which has an ID of 005. And now we also inserted another employee, so the ID is 0006. This is the 6th one in our list. So now let's try really the manage clients. So let me add a client. So let's choose a service. I want checkup and cleaning. So Dr. Jess Alba is available. So John Smith is added as a client. His client ID is generated as 2025-0001, and his transaction for checkup and cleaning is recorded with Dr. Jess Alba. Now let's try updating a client record. So let's input here. Let's select number 3 and update the contact number as 777-888-89. So there's a confirmation that it has been updated. Now let's try adding another transaction. Let's choose one for fillings. Let's try 0005 Dr. Michael A. Adams. So John Smith contact is updated and a new transaction for fillings with Dr. Michael A. Adams is added. So this transaction appears in both John's and respective dentist records. Now let's try archiving a client record. Let's choose now exit the submenu. Then let's try archive a record 2025 0001. So as we can see, John Smith's record is now archived. Archive records do not appear in the active list but remain accessible for transaction review. So now let's view all active client records. Let's select number 4. So as we can see, since John Smith is archived, no active client records are displayed. Now let's try viewing client transactions. Let's try 2025 0001, which is the ID of Dr. John Smith, which is now archived. John Smith's complete transaction history is shown, even though his record is archived. So totaling to 1,600. Now, let's try setting the year. Let's go to the main menu, then set year 2026. So the system year is updated now to 2026. So new client IDs will now reflect the updated year. Then, let's try exiting the program. Program terminated. So the program exits gracefully, closing all resources. So now this walkthrough covered every feature of the clinic management system, from adding and updating records to handling transactions and also archiving entries. So we aimed for a clear, detailed, and ambiguous explanation of every aspect of the program. So thank you for watching and dangal greetings.